2, 3, 4, 5, Big Gen, keep my favorite.
What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. All right, so thank you everyone for dropping by yesterday for part one of our two-parter 12 favorite dice-chucking games for Christmas list. So we got part two here ready. I'm going to get down the bench. I'll join you. And why don't we talk about this? All right, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's list. Now we're going to finish it off with number 6 through 1 of my favorite Christmas gift dice-chucking games. Coming in at my favorite number 6 spot is another game that's been mentioned a few times on this channel, and again, I have to say this, it deserves to be brought up again, especially for this category. And that is a game by Wizards of the Coast, and it's not a very new game, I have to say, but it is a good, fun, great dice game, and that is infighting. Yeah, so you are in a Dungeons and Dragons world. The way it's set up, it kind of seems like Forgotten Realms, but it really doesn't matter, does it? You're in a bar in D&D, and then a bar fight starts. No, not an encounter. No, not a dungeon delve style encounter where you're kicking in the door and ready to kill the monsters for their treasure or to save whoever it is that needs saving. No. This is a bar fight, just like you've seen in the movies, or maybe have been in the middle of several of. And that does give it a very different mindset. So in this game, yes, it is a bar fight and you're chucking dice. There are cards in the game, but the cards, there's some action cards, not a lot. Most of the cards that aren't your character card are bystanders. Other people at the tavern, at the inn, at the bar who get caught up in the fight. They act as great meat shields. Let me tell you, you definitely want to grab a few of them if you're lucky enough to get them from the drawer. But otherwise, this is just about chucking the dice. Chucking the dice to see if you get the result to punch someone on one side of you, to hit someone with a chair on the other side of you, or maybe get a chance to use your special ability, your magic spell. And in case if you're really good in the game, you can bypass the bystanders and attack your opponent directly. Another good thing about this game is if you die, you don't really die, if you get beaten, knocked out, I guess, you're not out of the game. You draw another adventurer. Some other guy has just walked into the bar right in the middle of this barroom brawl. So it never ends. And your hit points are your victory points. When you deal damage to somebody, you take their hit points and you add them to your victory pile. And it's all using the same system. So life points and victory points combined. That was pretty good. I like that. I definitely like that system. Instead of using two different, using it at the same definitely works. And I have never had a bad time playing this game. It has always been tons of fun. Then again, this is one of the few games that I win more often than I lose. So it might have my opinion colored a little bit. But yeah, check out Infighting. You're gonna love it. Number 5 is a game that's been played on Solo Showdown and Pixie playthroughs a few times over the last year and a half. That's a game by Gamelin Games. Coming in right with you at number 5, the top 5. The first one of the top 5 is Tiny Epic Galaxies. So in this non-cooperative game, you and the opponents are racing to get your victory points to win. And you do that by collecting resources. You do that by colonizing planets. There is no real combat back and forth between each other, but there is that great feel of racing and a little bit of take that when you're all vying for the same planet to colonize. And when you colonize the planets, they give you certain colonization abilities. So this is a dice set collection game in a sense, but not with a point where you're taking the dice and you're collecting the sets and putting them on something. You're collecting sets for certain things, like collecting sets because you want to get a certain amount of resources, or you want to raise your civilization level, or you want to launch some more ships to do some more investigating and find some more planets to colonize. So in that sense, you are setting the dice aside on specific tasks, but it's not quite a dice set collection, because you don't need to get a ship, a colony, and the resources in order to pull something off like you do in these other dice set collection games. It's a one-on-one set collection, but it works. And this game has another aspect to it, and that's the one-player mode. The one-player mode is different than the multiplayer mode. You're not just... What you're doing is you're competing against an AI, a built-in system of an NPC galaxy. And it's done very well. I don't know how much playtesting they did to tweak it, but me, the 20-sided warriors, no one I've ever talked to has had a problem with the way that one-player game works. In fact, all I've really ever heard is praise for it. It is one of my 2 favorite games to solo, because the solo mode is different than the multiplayer. So Tiny Epic Galaxies by Gamelin Games. You're definitely going to want that game to be chucking some dice at. The number 4 game has been featured a few times as well over this last year on some solo showdowns and at least one Pixie playthrough that I did with the 20-sided warriors. This is a game I wish I kickstarted. It's one of the Kickstarter games I missed out on that I'm kicking myself over. This is by Renegade Game Studios, and it is Lucidity 6-Sided Nightmares. So in this dice set collection game, what you're doing is you are delving into the dream world, and you are trying to steal dream power for yourself. There are other players out to do the same. This is not a cooperative game, my friends. But besides them, there are nightmares lurking in the dream world, and they're looking to corrupt you and the other players and turn you into manifestations of their nightmares. So you gotta be careful. But even if you turn into a nightmare, as T-Bone found out his first game, you can still win. You're not out of the game. You, in fact, get special abilities, all new, different things to do on your turns than the dreamers do. If you're a nightmare, your whole job is to help the other nightmares convert the other players. So you do start playing a different game, but you are still able to win by doing so. Great system. I can't wait to see what else they do with this game. I have no idea what they can even be thinking of for expansions or for a standalone extension of the game, and I am dying to find out what they're going to do. So, Lucidity 6-Sided Nightmares is a great dice-chucking game. Woo! Down to the last 3. Oh, it's getting good now, my friends. So now this has turned into my favorite 3 dice-chucking games for Christmas gifts. I got to work on that title a little bit. So the top 3. All right, any ideas? Because let me see. 2 of them have been mentioned in the last several months. One of them has not really been mentioned, as far as I recall, since an original unboxing, I think. So number 3, the 3rd one down from the top, working its way to my favorite. Number 3 is by USAopoly, which, to tell you the truth, surprised me. Not that they're a bad company, but they haven't actually published anything in the past that's called to me. You know what I mean? And this one most certainly did. And it dropped appropriately enough just before Avengers 3 Infinity War started. And that title, my friends, is Thanos Rising. So in this dice set collection game, then, this is cooperative. You and the other heroes of Earth and the galaxy are trying to stop the mad Titan Thanos as he tries to collect all of the Infinity Stones to win the game. What you are doing is you pick a team and a team leader. And after that, it becomes a bit of a deck-building game because you are going around the board either fighting off Thanos' children or trying to collect heroes to add to your side. Sort of building up a deck, but you're not playing from a deck, so it's not really a deck-building game. You're winning these cards, and they're out, they're in front of you in your play area, and they count at all times. So it's not quite a deck builder, but you are building up the cards nonetheless in this dice set collection game. This game ramps up really fast, really hard, beginning of the game is all nice. You know, maybe you fight one of the Thanos' children here. Maybe you save the Winter Soldier over here. You know, that seems all well and good. But after a few turns, things start getting really hectic. At the beginning of every turn, Thanos is facing a new sector of space. And depending on where he's facing depends on which of his children will activate if they're in that space. And that's when hell starts to break loose. Especially when you get Thanos in the same sector as 2 or maybe 3, because there's only 3 slots per sector, and there are only 3 sectors. So when you have more than one that gets activated at a time, wow, that can definitely hit you hard. And then Thanos has the Infinity Stone die. Every time he's rolling the dice, he's collecting parts of a stone. And he needs 5 collections for each one stone. So technically, within 5 turns, he could acquire 1 stone. Of course, that would require the die rolling the same stone 5 times out of 6 sides. But, you know, it's possible. So things do ramp up and get hectic very fast in this game. But I have never found it to be hectic to the point where it's anxiety-filled. Ah! No. It is fun level of excitement that really gets you going, gets your blood pumping a little bit as you're watching things slowly crumble apart on you. I think I've won this game almost half as many times as I've played. It is a tough game, and it keeps drawing me back. You like chucking dice, you like dice set collection games, and you like cooperative, and you're a superhero fan, especially Marvel, you need Thanos Rising. Ooh, two Gun Pixie's favorite 2 is what we're at right now. That's a double 2, my friends. Okay, the last 2. Gale Force 9 has been impressing the heck out of me. First of all, let me just start off with that. They have a dice set collection game that called to me. I mean, literally called to me. Doctor Who, The Time of the Daleks. Now, I love Doctor Who, going all the way back to the first Doctor, going all the way back to Bill himself. I love them all. And I love the franchise. I love the show. But I have not liked a game based on it. Not at all. Actually, not even some of the RPGs. The board games never seem to really be able to get the feel of time travel and regeneration and the companions. Gale Force 9. I don't know what bottle they rubbed to get a genie out of for that wish, but they got their wish. This game is thematically more like Doctor Who than I can imagine any game being. And just like I mentioned earlier with the Star Trek, that was yesterday actually. Just like I mentioned with the Star Trek one, every story, every event that you need to overcome in Doctor Who and the Time of the Daleks is based on one of the over 50 years worth of shows that have come out for Doctor Who. Well, okay, not quite 50. There was a number of years there after Sylvester McCoy left that there was no Doctor. But you get it. You know what I mean here. Almost 50 years of plots, of titles, of stories, and they're represented in the game. Now, if you are a Doctor Who fan, I got to bring something else up to you. Regeneration. This game does a beautiful job of capturing regeneration. If your Doctor fails a mission to the point where he dies, where he expires, you're going to pass the Doctor you were playing to the next player to your right. And everyone's doing that. So you're getting, whoever was playing the Doctor on the left, you're getting their Doctor. All the Doctors regenerate. Okay, thematically that's not exactly perfect, but for translation into a board game, it is amazing that they decided to do that. And I love that aspect of the game, even though I hate it when I regenerate, because I always start with my favorite Doctor, the second one, Patrick Troughton, and I know I'm not going to have it for the whole game. But it's fun. It's fun. And they got a bunch of expansions that just started coming out that cover the rest of the Doctors. There's only 4 or 5 Doctors in the base game. They have 2 Doctor expansions that are out now, and we have all the Doctors up to Capaldi. Jodie Whittaker, she wasn't known to be the new Doctor by the time they started all this. I'm assuming that sometime in 2019, there's going to be an expansion with the Jodie Whittaker Doctor, the 15th Doctor. Yes, the 15th Doctor, count him. As well as the War Doctor. The War Doctor wasn't included in any of the other expansions. So they do two Doctors in an expansion, and they're missing two, Jodie and John Hurt. I'm sure they're going to be the next and last one. So if you like Doctor Who, you like chucking dice, you got to get this game. You got to play this game, get it to the table, and show it off. Doctor Who, Time of the Daleks. Number one. My number one favorite dice-chucking game that makes a great Christmas gift. This is a game that I found, again, it's one of the games I didn't kickstart. I should have kickstarted it. I wish I did. The money at the time, everything that was going on in my life, it wasn't happening. And I was a little upset about that. So the moment this game became available, I made sure I had saved up a couple of bucks. And it wasn't all that expensive. I saved up a couple of bucks, and I went out and I bought it. And that is my Thunderworks game, my friends, and that is Role Player. All right, let's be honest. One of the main reasons I didn't back this game originally on Kickstarter is because what the game is about. But fortunately, it's because what the game is about that when I saw it played, I understood it. I got it. And that game, Role Player, have you ever played a role-playing game? Yes? No? For those of you that have played a role-playing game, you're probably well aware that it's really fun making characters. I mean, I've been at this for since I was 8 years old, and I've known since I was a kid. It's so much fun to create characters, all the different possibilities that you're putting together on paper with pencil. It's amazing, and I love it. I've created more characters in my life than I could ever hope to have the time to play, and I don't care. I still want to make characters because it's so much fun, and that is what Role Player is. It is a dice-chucking game where you are making the most perfect version, a min-maxed version of a D&D style fantasy RPG character. Yeah, at first, when I first saw it, I admit, I was like, who would want to play a board game about rolling dice to make a character? Just roll dice and make a character. Man, after I saw a couple of video playthroughs of it and reviews on it, my attitude changed completely. I can't imagine not owning this game because it's a great dice-chucking game as well as what the theme is. So during the game, you're going to be chucking dice, but it's a bidding system. You're going to be bidding for dice. You're going to be bidding for your turn at the marketplace to be able to buy gear and equipment, armor, backgrounds, like personalities. Your alignment shifts, and depending on what class you are and what background you have, you need to go for a specific alignment. And depending on what equipment you have or skills that you have, it's going to shift that around. And it really does show how hard it can be to stick to just one ethical and philosophical, emotional viewpoint forever. Because so many little things that you do, nudge your alignment here or there or back or forth. It's not always easy to keep that lined up right where you want it. This game has an expansion out that lets you adventure with these characters as well. That's another reason to get it, because you can't do that without the base game, my friends. And it is my favorite dice-chucking game. Role Player. Check it out. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for checking us out on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you for subscribing to Two Gun Pixie here on YouTube. Thank you for liking and commenting. And most of all, my friends, thank you so much for sharing our videos. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming. And my friends, I am howdy.